All right, so today, let's dive into something that's really useful.
Yeah.
I mean, incredibly practical for anyone out there, hoping to really nail those Dynamics 365 CE interviews.
Especially for those functional consultant roles.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got a guide here
Okay.
called Dynamics 365 CE interview questions.
Okay.
And this isn't just some generic blog post or a bunch of tips that
yeah.
you might find, scattered around. This is compiled by Jayakishor Bayadi,
Great.
who is a Microsoft certified professional.
Okay.
He's deeply experienced in D365. He does training, consulting, and he's actually recognized as a LinkedIn top voice.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that's already pretty impressive. What makes this guide so special for interview prep?
Yeah.
Because, there are a lot of resources out there.
There are. This one is different. Bayadi has actually taken the time to look at the most common and the most challenging questions that he's encountered.
Yeah.
The ones that top organizations are actually asking. And he's crafted really insightful answers. And, answers that go beyond just here's the definition of something.
Okay, yeah.
He's giving you the knowledge and then the framing to really impress during an interview.
So it's almost like having a sneak peek into the interviewer's mind.
Yeah.
But also expert guidance on how to respond.
Exactly. And one of the things I really appreciate about this is how Bayadi really emphasizes the importance of interview mindset.
Right.
He even shares a story about Brian Acton.
Oh, wow.
The co-founder of WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And how, he was rejected by Facebook.
Interesting.
But just to remind us that one interview doesn't define your entire career.
Oh, that's such a good point.
Yeah.
Because I think it's so easy to get caught up in the pressure.
Yeah.
And feel like everything hinges on that one opportunity.
Absolutely. And that type of thinking can actually hurt your performance in the interview.
Yeah.
Bayadi encourages a mindset of confidence in what you know.
Okay.
And staying structured in your responses and just being open about areas where you're eager to learn more.
Okay. So it's about showcasing your knowledge, but also demonstrating your willingness to grow and adapt.
Yes.
Okay, that's a good combination. So let's actually get into some of the technical stuff in this guide.
Okay.
What kind of topics does it actually cover?
All right, so it starts with the fundamentals of Dynamics 365 architecture.
Okay.
Diving into, all the core components that really make the platform tick.
So architecture, that sounds kind of intimidating. Does it assume that you have a lot of prior knowledge?
It's definitely geared towards those who are serious about a Dynamics 365 career. But it does a really good job of explaining the concepts really clearly.
Yeah.
Especially for those who just might need a quick refresher before an interview. It covers things like Dataverse, which is the heart of the system.
Dataverse, I've heard that term.
Yeah.
But can you break that down for me? What exactly is Dataverse?
So think of Dataverse as the central nervous system of Dynamics 365.
Okay.
It's the database where all the information lives.
Okay.
Customer data, sales records, service cases, everything.
Right.
It's what allows all the different modules of Dynamics 365, like sales and customer service, to talk to each other.
Yeah.
To share information seamlessly.
So I enter, say, a customer's contact info in the sales module.
Yeah.
It's automatically available in the customer service module.
Yes.
And I don't have to re-enter everything.
Precisely. That's the power of Dataverse. It eliminates data silos.
Oh, nice.
And it ensures that everyone is working with the most up-to-date information.
That's a huge time saver, and that reduces errors.
Exactly.
Okay, so Dataverse is like the foundation.
Uh-huh.
But how does all the processing, all the automation happen?
Yeah, so that's where concepts like plugins and custom workflows come in.
Okay.
So think of them as tools that really allow you to extend the functionality of Dynamics 365
Okay.
and tailor it to specific business needs.
Plugins and workflows, those sound pretty technical.
Yeah.
Can you give me a real-world example
Absolutely.
of how they're used?
So imagine a company wants to automatically calculate a discount
Okay.
based on the total value of a sales order.
Yeah.
A plugin could be triggered
Right.
whenever a new sales order is created.
Yeah.
And it will perform that calculation in real time,
Okay.
ensuring accuracy, consistency.
So it's about automating tasks and making the system work smarter, which is incredibly valuable.
Exactly.
Okay, so plugins are for that. What about custom workflows?
So custom workflows can handle even more complex automation.
Okay.
That involves multiple steps or different modules within Dynamics 365. They can orchestrate entire processes, like, say, automatically creating a new service case
Yeah.
whenever a customer submits a complaint.
Okay.
maybe through a web form or something.
I'm starting to see how powerful this platform can be
Yeah,
when you understand how to use these tools.
it is powerful.
But I'm also realizing that there's a lot to learn.
Yes, there is. And that's exactly why this guide is so valuable. It doesn't just, explain these concepts,
Right.
but it frames them within the context of actual interview questions
Oh, okay.
that Bayadi has seen and encountered.
So you're not just learning about plugins and workflows in general,
Yeah.
but you're learning how to actually articulate
Oh.
your understanding of it
Yes.
in a way that will impress an interviewer.
Exactly. He goes beyond just those definitions, explaining why these concepts matter
Okay?
and how they're applied in these real-world scenarios.
Yeah. Okay, I'm starting to get a sense of the structure of this guide.
Okay.
It's like a deep dive into these technical aspects
Yeah.
of Dynamics 365,
Right.
but with a focus on answering interview questions.
Yes.
Okay. Now, does it also talk about security?
It does. It covers the security models within Dynamics 365,
Okay.
which is an area that I think is often overlooked,
Yeah.
but it's incredibly important.
Right, especially in an interview setting.
Yeah.
So security that can be a topic that quickly becomes a tangled web
Yeah.
of roles, permissions, and access levels.
Yeah.
How does this guide approach such a complex subject?
Bayadi does a fantastic job of breaking it down into these manageable chunks,
Okay.
and he uses really clear language,
Yeah.
even analogies,
Okay.
to explain the different security models.
Like what kind of security models?
So things like role-based security, record-based security, field-level security.
Okay, break those down for me. What are those?
Okay, so imagine Dynamics 365 is like a building
Okay.
with different levels of access.
Right.
Role-based security is like having these different key cards
Okay.
that grant you entry to specific floors.
Right.
Each role has a predefined set of permissions
Okay.
that determine what actions they can perform.
So a sales representative might have a key card that gives them access to the sales floor
Yeah.
where they can create and edit opportunities.
Right.
But they wouldn't be able to access product pricing.
Exactly. And then there's record-based security,
Okay.
which is like having ownership over a specific room on that floor.
Okay.
So you as the owner, you can decide who else has access,
Okay.
regardless of their key card level.
So if I create a contact in Dynamics 365,
Mm-hmm.
I can choose to share it with certain people
Mm-hmm.
or teams,
Yeah,
even if they don't have the same role as me.
precisely. And then you have field level security,
Okay.
which is like having specific permissions within that room.
Okay.
You might be able to access the room,
Right.
but you can't open certain filing cabinets
Yeah.
or drawers
Okay.
that contain sensitive information.
So you could restrict access to financial information
Yes,
or personal data.
exactly.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So then what about hierarchical security? Is that part of it?
Yes. The guide goes on to explain hierarchical security,
Okay.
which is a bit more complex, but essentially it allows users higher up in the organizational structure
Okay.
to access the records of those below them.
So a manager can see the records of their team members,
Yeah,
even if they don't own those records.
exactly. And what I appreciate is that Bayadi emphasizes the importance of understanding how all these different security models work together
Right.
to create this comprehensive approach to protecting data.
Okay.
It's not about just choosing one.
Right.
It's about using them in this layered approach.
Okay, so I'm starting to feel a lot less intimidated by this whole security aspect.
Yeah,
But we've only just scratched the surface.
we have. We've talked about architecture.
Yeah.
We've talked about plugins and workflows
Yep.
and security models.
Yeah.
But the guide goes so much deeper.
Okay.
It dives into the specific modules like sales, customer service, and field service,
Oh, wow.
and really gets into the heart of what a functional consultant needs to know.
All right. Well, before we get too lost in the weeds of all those modules,
Okay.
I think we should take a break here.
Yeah.
We can pick up on that
Okay.
in the next part of this deep dive.
Sounds good.
So stay tuned because we're going to dive even deeper into this guide.
All right.
We'll explore those specific modules that are crucial for functional consultants.
Okay.
We'll look at some real-world interview questions,
Yeah.
and we'll see how Bayadi's insights can help you shine.
Looking forward to it. So let's jump into the heart of what functional consultants really do.
Okay.
Working with those core Dynamics 365 modules
Okay.
like sales, customer service, and field service.
Right.
This is where Bayadi's guide, I think, really shines.
Yeah.
Because it gives you these really practical insights and strategies
Okay.
for how to tackle some of those like really tough interview questions.
Like, what kind of questions should someone expect in that area?
So for the sales module, a very classic one would be something like, walk me through the typical life cycle of an opportunity in Dynamics 365 sales.
Okay.
It seems straightforward.
Right.
But it's really designed to see if you understand the entire sales process, from lead qualification to closing the deal.
So it's not just about knowing how to create an opportunity record.
Right.
It's about demonstrating that you understand how Dynamics supports that entire sales journey.
Exactly. And the guide actually provides a clear framework for thinking about the different stages of that opportunity life cycle, from initial creation and qualification through developing a proposal, handling negotiations, to closing the deal, and even managing those post-sale activities.
It's like having a roadmap for that sales process, but within the context of Dynamics.
Exactly.
Okay, that's helpful in an interview.
And it doesn't stop there. It also goes into the, features and functionalities within the sales module that support each of those stages. Okay.
So things like lead scoring models, product catalogs, price lists, even integration with things like LinkedIn Sales Navigator.
So it's really showcasing that you understand those tools and techniques that Dynamics provides for sales teams.
Right. And it goes beyond just the interview, right? This is about actually being able to implement and configure dynamic sales to meet those specific business needs.
And speaking of specific needs,
what
about the customer service module? What kind of questions would you see there?
Oh, a really common one is describe the process of managing a case in Dynamics 365 customer service.
Okay.
Again, designed to kind of see if you get that end-to-end journey.
All right, so walk me through that. What are the key steps in managing a case?
So the guide breaks it down into clear stages.
Okay.
Starting with case creation, moving through all those service activities. Like emails, phone calls, managing SLAs to ensure timely resolution.
Okay.
Leveraging the knowledge base to find solutions. And ultimately resolving the case. And making sure the customer is happy.
So it's not just about responding to individual customer issues. It's about understanding that whole ecosystem of customer service within Dynamics and how all the different pieces fit together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the guide also emphasizes the importance of key features like SLAs, which help businesses define and track those service level commitments to the customer.
Okay.
And it highlights the knowledge base,
Right.
That centralized repository of information that allows agents to quickly find solutions.
Yeah. So really all about delivering efficient and consistent customer service.
Exactly. And it even gets into some of the integrations with other tools that are becoming more and more important for customer service today.
Right.
Things like chatbots, social media platforms.
It's about meeting the customers where they are, whether it's email, phone, chat, social media.
Providing that seamless experience.
And that's exactly what Dynamics 365 customer service is designed to do.
Yeah. Okay, so we've covered sales, customer service. What about field service? That one seems a little more specialized.
Yeah, it is a bit more specialized.
Okay.
But it's becoming increasingly important as more businesses rely on those field technicians.
Right.
A common question might be something like, how does Dynamics 365 field service optimize scheduling and dispatching?
So it's about more than just sending a technician out to an appointment.
Right.
It's about how Dynamics can help manage that whole process efficiently.
Exactly. And the guide explains how Dynamics 365 field service uses intelligent scheduling algorithms to consider things like technician availability, their skill sets, location, even traffic conditions, to optimize the routes and minimize that travel time.
That's impressive. So it's taking a lot of the guesswork out of that.
It really is. And it goes into detail about, features like work orders, which track all the details of a service request, and resource scheduling optimization, which uses AI to find the best technician based on their skills and their proximity.
So it's really using technology to streamline that whole operation.
Exactly.
And to make sure that the technicians are equipped with the information they need to do their job.
Right. It also covers things like inventory management,
Okay.
helping businesses track parts and supplies.
Right.
And those mobile capabilities that empower technicians
Okay.
to access information and update things
Yeah.
in real time, even if they're offline.
So empowering them to be more efficient.
Yeah.
Which ultimately leads to better service.
Exactly. And those are just a few of the key modules that the guide covers. It also goes into areas like marketing, project service automation.
Wow.
Even the Power Platform,
okay,
which is becoming, more and more integrated with Dynamics 365.
I'm starting to feel a little overwhelmed by the sheer breadth of knowledge that a functional consultant needs.
I understand. It can be a lot to take in.
Yeah.
But that's why this guide is so valuable, right?
Yeah.
It gives you this structured, accessible way to learn about these modules and be ready for those questions.
It's like having that roadmap to the vast world of Dynamics.
Yeah. It is.
It's reassuring to know that there's a resource that can help you make sense of it all.
Absolutely. And remember, this guide isn't about just memorizing answers.
Yeah.
It's about developing that understanding of how it works and how it's applied to those business challenges.
Right.
That's what really sets you apart.
Okay, so we've covered a lot.
We have.
We've explored those core modules and how this guide can help you with those questions.
Yes.
But there's still more to unpack, right?
There is.
So in the next part, we'll look at some of the more challenging aspects of Dynamics 365 implementations. Things like data migration, security configurations, even the role of artificial intelligence.
Sounds good.
We'll see how Bayadi's guide gives us some practical insights and strategies for those.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, so we talked about the core modules of Dynamics 365.
Yeah.
Sales, customer service, field service, and how this guide can help you with those interview questions. But what about the bigger picture of actually implementing Dynamics 365 for a whole organization?
Yeah, that's where things get even more interesting.
Okay.
And potentially a bit more challenging.
Okay.
But Bayadi's guide doesn't shy away from those complexities.
Right.
It actually goes into some of the trickiest aspects of these implementations.
Okay.
Like data migration, security configuration, even the role of artificial intelligence.
Data migration, I mean, that sounds like a massive undertaking.
It is.
I can imagine that's a major pain point for businesses switching over.
It can be. You're taking all of their existing data, which is often from multiple sources, and you're trying to move it into this new Dynamics 365 system.
Yeah.
And it has to be done very carefully and strategically to avoid errors, data loss, or any disruptions to the business.
I wouldn't even know where to begin with that.
Yeah.
So does the guide offer any practical advice for how to talk about that in an interview?
It does. It provides a step-by-step approach that really emphasizes planning, data cleansing, and meticulous execution.
Okay, walk me through that. What's the first step?
So the guide stresses that you need to start with a very comprehensive data audit.
Okay.
You need to understand what data you actually have.
Right.
Where is it coming from? What's the quality of it? And how does that all align with the structure of Dynamics 365?
So you're taking inventory, basically, and making sure you're not bringing over any unnecessary or outdated information.
Exactly. And then comes that really crucial step of data mapping.
Okay.
Figuring out, how do all the fields and tables in your old systems correspond to these entities and attributes in Dynamics 365?
So it's creating a translation guide for all your data.
Yes, exactly. And then there's data cleansing, right?
Okay.
Identifying and fixing any inconsistencies, duplicates, errors in your data before you actually migrate.
Bad data in equals bad data out.
Right. Exactly.
You don't want to pollute the new system.
You don't. And, the guide recommends using tools, like Microsoft's data migration framework. Or maybe even third-party solutions to streamline that process.
Especially if you're dealing with a ton of data.
Especially if you're dealing with a lot of data.
Okay.
Those tools can automate so much and reduce the risk of human error.
But even then, it sounds like it's a complex process.
It is.
That requires a lot of expertise.
It does, yeah.
And, I think being able to talk about that intelligently in an interview can really set you apart.
It can. And that's what this guide gives you. It gives you the language and the framework to be able to do that.
Okay, so data migration, check. What about security configurations? I know we talked about the models, but how does this guide address the practical aspect of setting up security in an implementation.
Yeah, so it goes beyond just the concepts and it gets into those granular details of, actually configuring those security roles, field level security, even those hierarchical security models to meet specific organizational needs.
That can be complex. Like, how does the guide help someone navigate all that?
So it uses like real world scenarios and practical examples to show you how to apply these concepts. So for example, it might, walk you through the steps of creating a security role for a sales manager. Yeah.
Okay, what permissions do they need? To access and manage opportunities.
Right.
But then also, restrict their access to some sensitive pricing information.
So it's not just about like knowing the definitions. It's about knowing how you would actually configure it.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the guide even gets into some of the more advanced security features.
Yeah.
Things like auditing and data encryption.
Okay.
Which are important, for those businesses with compliance requirements.
So it sounds like it really equips you to answer any kind of security question.
Yeah, it tries to. And what's even more impressive is that it goes even further than that. It actually talks about artificial intelligence and the role that's playing in Dynamics 365 implementations.
AI, that's like a really hot topic.
It is.
Like, is that something that would actually come up in a Dynamics 365 interview?
It's becoming more and more common.
Because Microsoft is putting a lot of resources into those AI capabilities. And it's really changing how we think about automation, insights, personalization.
Okay, like give me an example. How is AI being used?
So one of the most interesting ones is Dynamics 365 Copilot, which is an AI-powered assistant that's actually embedded throughout the different Dynamics 365 applications.
Oh, wow.
Sales, customer service, marketing.
An AI assistant? That sounds like something out of a movie.
It does.
What does it actually do?
So imagine you're a sales representative. You're working on an opportunity in Dynamics 365 sales.
Yeah.
Copilot can help you write these really personalized emails to the client.
Oh, okay.
Suggest relevant content that you can share with them.
Okay.
Even predict the likelihood of closing the deal.
Based on historical data?
Based on all the data and using its AI brain.
Wow. That's amazing.
It is.
It's like having this virtual sales coach right there with you.
It is. And in customer service, Copilot can actually help agents find those knowledge-based articles, maybe suggest responses, even predict case outcomes.
Okay, so it's all about making those agents more efficient and effective.
Exactly.
This is starting to sound like, really sci-fi, but in a good way.
It is.
But would an interviewer really expect me to know that?
It's definitely becoming more important to know about.
Okay.
And the guide does a great job of breaking down what is Copilot?
Yeah.
How does it work?
Yeah.
What are the benefits across the modules?
So it's not just being aware of the technology, but also like understanding how it's applied.
Yes. And the guide even touches on like some of the ethical considerations.
Okay.
Showing that you've really thought about it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm adding that to my list to research before my next interview.
Yeah. It's definitely worth looking into.
I'm realizing this guide is like more than just a collection of answers.
Yeah.
It's really a roadmap for understanding Dynamics 365.
I think so. I think it speaks to Jayakishor Bayadi's expertise and his desire to help others.
I'm super impressed with the depth of this guide.
Me too.
It's not just about passing the interview. It's about really thriving in your Dynamics 365 career.
Absolutely.
It's a valuable resource.
Yeah.
Whether you're just starting out or you've been doing this for a while.
Absolutely.
Well, we've covered a lot today.
We have.
From the core modules to how to implement it, even AI.
Yeah.
So if you're serious about a Dynamics 365 career, check out this guide.
It's a game changer.
I think that's a great way to put it. And, the journey of learning never really ends.
Never does. Especially in the world of technology.
Embrace the challenge. Stay curious.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us today. This has been a fascinating deep dive.
I agree. It's been a pleasure.